I want to push back a bit today on the idea that you need to find a clinician, especially an orthopedic physical therapist, who specializes in your sport or who really sees a lot of patients that compete in your sport. Yes, in certain cases that may be the exceptions to the rule where you really need that specialized knowledge, but clinicians who work in orthopedics, such as myself, we need to understand the demands of everything on the neuromusculoskeletal system. It's not just what does baseball demand of you, it's also what does playing the piano demand of you, what does typing 10 hours a day demand of you, what does kneeling for your job 6 hours a day demand on the body. So don't get into the trap of needing to find someone who really knows your sport. I would argue that's not what you need in most cases. You need someone who's really good at diagnosing and reversing orthopedic pathology. I separate pathology into fitness, meaning pathology is something that's wrong and you reverse it back to normal. And then a coach, for example, like a running coach or a golf coach, they take someone who's pathology free, who's normal, and they maximize the abilities of that particular person. That's not my domain. Although I love to exercise and especially have been running for decades, I have opinions in those areas, but I don't work with thousands of patients or thousands of people, who are normal and healthy and need to get better speed or need to get better power. That is a different job. Clinicians are taking someone who has pathology and getting them back up to normal. At least that's the paradigm that I kind of created for what my job is in the role of sports, for example. But don't necessarily look for these people because they're not necessarily the best people. That's what I'm trying to say. You can think of it as, another example, like say you're a runner and you have a heart issue. Like, are you necessarily going to look for a cardiologist who's a competitive runner? Or say you're a free diver and you have a lung issue. Are you going to say, I'm only going to see a pulmonologist who's familiar with free diving? Well, maybe you are, but I would say you're probably missing a large swath of good clinicians who've never done free diving or cardiologists who have never done marathons, who, because of their training and their job, understand what those demands are on the lungs and on the heart, but don't compete in those particular sports. I'm just afraid that people are going to be missing finding a good clinician because they're too focused on their particular endeavor, when understanding the body is what a clinician should do. And if they're good at that, they can help people for whatever endeavors or sports they do on a regular basis.